I started to work in Web3 10 years ago. I was working around 300 projects or maybe more over these years. Attractive women, models going around.
More and more normies are coming to crypto. Crypto is getting boring.
Nowadays, we have more sophisticated scammers. My favorite is BitConnect.
Terra Luna was a huge thing.
I'm super Ethereum fan.
Ethereum actually up to at least 7K by the end of the year. We're gonna see some dips. Hi everyone, this is HodlFM podcast back with you again. I'm Tanya, your host, and today we're gonna talk about crypto trends, developments, and in particular, we're gonna discuss how crypto community and how the industry has grown and changed over the last 10 years. And now let's move on to our guest. We have Diana King with us today. She's a Web3 marketer, a very seasoned one, by the way, and right now, Diana is the CMO at Cedra Network. Hello, Diana, and thank you for joining us.
Hi. I'm very happy to be here, Tanya, and thank you for the invite. So I hope this conversation would be fun and interesting for all the listeners. So yeah, let's just start.
Yeah, let's begin. I think in the beginning, it would be cool to know more about you, about your previous and past experience. When did you start your crypto journey?
I think I'm afraid to name the numbers myself, but I started to work in Web3 10 years ago. And it started all from the event company where I was a content manager and I was promoted to the head of media department and PR director. I did a lot of PR campaigns, like paid campaigns, event campaigns for different projects. I was working around 300 projects or maybe more over these years. So yeah, I had different experience in Web3, and I remember times when it was pretty dodgy, and I remember times when Web3 didn't call themselves a Web3 community because it was related more to Polkadot community and the division that was developed in Berlin and Germany. And all the industry was calling themselves like crypto natives or blockchain industry. So it's fun that we have this conversation today, and I'm happy also to dive deeper how the industry changed and what happened over the last decade.
Diana, so you just mentioned that you've been around for 10 years, and so you're probably the rightest person to ask what has changed, how the community has changed, how the industry has changed over this time.
The biggest thing that I noticed recently is I got older. So this is the biggest change in this decade. But overall, I think nowadays the industry became more diverse as, whole tech industry, and actually all the words went to the gender equality to improve, relations between people who doesn't understand the industry. So more and more communities in Web3 are dedicated to develop female communities who dedicated to bring Web2 people into Web3. And actually, you mentioned that I am involved in Cedra Network, and basically that's what we will do in Ukraine and other regions where we push the education around the traditional developers and bring them into Web3. And more projects dedicated their marketing campaigns, their activities around that, because industry is still very new, though it's like 10 years developed, even more. Sorry, it's 10 years I'm involved in this.
I think a bit more, yeah.
Yeah, the industry much older, but it's still new. We don't have a lot of players on the market, and there is still a lot of opportunities to bring more value and change the approach. And I think this is what will happen in the nearest future as well. So, and I remember times when, the events and all the marketing approach was dedicated on attractive women, models going around, don't know about the tech side of the project and talking just as a selling point, but didn't bring any value. So nowadays, I think more projects focusing more on infrastructure, on the real value to the market, what they can bring, how they can change. And even the events change in the same direction. You still can find, of course, attractive women at the events, but they would be more involved in the project and the companies they work in. They will understand what is this and so on. And actually, that's not only because the industry were welcoming, it's still very masculine industry, but because of the different communities like her DAO, woman DAO, and other female-oriented communities, they changed it because they started to bring more women to the hackathons. They started to bring more women to the events, not just for the pretty face, but also as their knowledge contributors. And this actually is a big change that happened. I hope it will continue through the years. And of course, especially last years, I noticed a lot of young faces, a lot of students joining in the industry, a lot of even scholars, that more tech savvy that I am even. And they have more ideas and generating more ideas, and actually more projects open to invite those young minds, I would say, to their work environment and gives them more of internship, gives them more educational knowledge in the future to make them loyal chain contributors so that they can work long term through the years.
Okay, I see. So you mean basically that more and more normies are coming to crypto? Because I remember these times when like 2017 or even before 2017, it was more like geeky thingy. But after 2017, it was very wild. You can't even find another word to describe it. There were lots of like women appearing on conferences. The conferences were wild. But right now you say that there are more like traditional people from traditional industries coming to crypto. Wouldn't you say that crypto is getting boring?
It's actually a very, very tricky question, if I may say. And you're asking this a person who was in sabbatical for a year. I'm telling you my explanation why I went to this sabbatical. So yeah, industry is changing, and you're totally right that before it was like more close geeky community. Actually, when and why I joined to this community and to this division, it was very fun journey. And then of course we have a period when we becoming bigger and more people started to join, more scammers started to join, and it was very simple. This pyramid types scammers that scam a lot of people, and then they push away a lot of normies that I would say. They lost a lot of money and so on. And then we got attention from the regulators, right? And from other government institutions that started to dedicate their life to focus on regulations and so on. I think we're still in the process how it will be regulated properly. And of course, we have Mika and stuff like that. But I don't think it will be a clear in the coming years, right? I still think it will be under development and law will be changing. But nowadays we have more sophisticated scammers, I would say. I wouldn't say the industry is still getting boring. I think this is a time when it became more still, I would say, and you need to be more attentive with the people you're working with and with their reputation on market, because a lot of these traditional scammers started to look into the industry. They trying to make money there. But nowadays, when before we had a lot of money and budgets for different marketing campaigns and so on, now this bag obviously became much smaller. Maybe you can comment as well as a experienced marketer, but in my observation, there's less and less budgets for that, less and less good quality specialists, because some of them get burnt out, and I also was facing these because every time you join project, and I had like a lot of nice projects, but they couldn't just survive because of the market, because of the money. And we need still to understand there is like a few key players on the market, right? The industry development, the technology developing, but it's still not very open for everyone, right? We still have 10 key opinion leaders that push in the industry, right? And on their comments or their opinions, everything will change. The market can move, the price can change. It still has a lot of potential, but I'm not sure which direction we're taking right now, right? I think now we are trying to combine maybe uncombined. It's like I'm referring to AI and blockchain, and of course, it makes a logical sense to combine these two techs, but would it make sense for humanity? Maybe we build the apocalypse by our hands. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. I wouldn't say it become very boring. I would say in Cannes, it was very fun and rich times where you have Moyot at the events, you have Labubu as a giveaway for your community. So it seems very rich.
What was the biggest scam you have ever seen in crypto over the last 10 years?
No, I think my favorite is BitConnect
My
because
favorite too.
they did it very nice, and it's still used for memes. I remember that one of the company I was working, they did event, and it was one of the main sponsors of this event. And I found recently my old pictures with this BitConnect stripe, like written everywhere, taking interviews, and then a month after, everything collapsed. So it was a funny journey. What's your
For those
favorite?
who don't know about BitConnect, I think we should also mention, because this was a long time ago, that this was a pyramid scheme which was very, very popular in 2017, and which was like probably a lot of people, no coiners as well, invested a lot of money into it. It promised high gains, but the thing I remember the most about BitConnect was this bald guy who was attending lots of the events and doing lots of promo, and he was singing BitConnect. This is probably the thing which also comes to my mind whenever I hear like crypto and scam. So I think for me it is one of the brightest scams which has been on the market.
Yeah, I mean, but you also know yourself that crypto scam happens every month, and sometimes even a big projects with a good reputation can go this path because, I don't know, investment finished or some other reasons, and people go in dark.
Yeah, or people just make mistakes during the times when they're building a startup. So this can happen to any company. But crypto is particularly known for scams, for sketchy projects and things. And there are many different movies about this and so
I
on.
mean, yeah, I once even couldn't rent my apartment because of the crypto. I was looking to rent a flat, and then the potential landlord asked me, "Oh, what you doing for work?" And I'm working in Web3. Do you know? And she's like, "Yeah, I know. I actually invested in Terra Luna." Like all my savings, and it was already 1 month after they scam everyone. So I was like, "Oh, really? You invested all your savings?" And she's like, "Yeah. And it's dropped so badly, but I still have a hope it will grow up." And I'm like, I don't think so. So if you can withdraw some money, I suggest you to do so. But I think it already was a time of no return. And then she sent me a big email that she cannot rent the flat. So it was a bit sad.
It was. I think it is sad that people have this kind of association. But Terra Luna was a huge thing as well. It was probably much bigger than BitConnect. It was not that marketed that well. There was no bald guy, but still, it
Yeah,
it was a huge thing.
but I think it's also pushed the Korean government to start regulate crypto, and actually the market in Korea changed completely after that because it was a Korean team that built Terra Luna. as far as I remember.
Yeah. The founder was Korean and he was living in Singapore, if I'm not mistaken. And you mentioned before that in Cedra Network, you're trying to bring Web2 people to Web3. So you're making no coiners. Basically, this was another thing interesting for me because right now there are so many applications to DeFi projects, to different crypto exchanges from people from traditional industries. I was wondering which advice you could give them if they want to know more about crypto, because if you start getting to know the market, the blockchain, the technology, and everything behind it, it takes you a lot of time, and you should to spend a lot of time to understand it, to know it, and to be very good in the industry, to be able to hold a conversation with different people and to be good at your job. What would be the advice you could give to those people who are just starting out with their crypto activities?
I think, first of all, it's important to understand what position you want to take in the industry, right? Because there is like endless opportunities from tech to non-tech jobs. And for example, you and me are mostly marketers, right? I myself am not really tech savvy person, but over the years, of course, I started to understand more of technical side, and I mostly worked with dev. So of course, you need to go through documentation, you need to understand the language. So first of all, I would suggest to learn slang, all the available materials about what is NFT, what is blockchain, what's the difference between token and blockchain and stuff like that. And actually, there is a lot of resources that explaining this, like Binance Academy. One of the popular, there is Investopedia. There is like different websites that you can just search through the Google. I mean, you can do it also through ChatGPT nowadays, but I would verify the information that it gives to you, because sometimes it could use weird sources to gather the info. I would suggest if it's non-native English speakers to learn English. You can also start as a volunteer on different events, like crypto-related events, because they always need people and students that help with organization. It also can help you with your network. It could help you with connections. It could help to see from the inside how everything is cooking. And of course, if you have time and opportunity, you can go to as an intern to different companies as a hiring. You can go through the courses that different companies are publishing and get a job after that. You can start as a contributor, dev contributor to some chains. Even in Cedra, you can go through our documentation. You can see how to set up a node, how our working environment look like, and then build a project there. And then you can come to our community and ask for the grant, and we can finance you for that. So there is endless opportunities, of course. I think it just what you need to have is curiosity and open mind to learn, because as older you become, the less flexible you become in accepting someone else's opinion. So I think if you're open for that, if you can filter this as well, so you can easily start and do all the steps I suggested before.
Thank you for such a lovely advice. And last thing I couldn't touch during this session is the Bitcoin price. Right now, we see that yesterday it was 122K. What is your prediction about the maximum, where we're at in this cycle? What about Ethereum? What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, I would like to see Ethereum 5,000 then at the end of the year. Maybe Bitcoin 135K. It's not exact advice or professional advice. It's just numbers from my head. It just the numbers I would like to believe. I'm happy that the industry started to waking up recently, but we will see where it's going. because some of them, like I'm super Ethereum fan, and I would like to see this ecosystem to flourish. But some of the updates that they started to implement recently might affect and bring the price down. With Bitcoin, I think it's always good to invest a little bit because it's kind of long-term investment strategy for you. Yeah. What
It's not a
about you?
financial advice once again.
What about you? What's your desirable number?
I hope to see Ethereum actually up to at least 7K by the end of the year. I think it's quite doable, but
Fingers
once
crossed.
again, this is
Fingers
just a
crossed.
prediction on my end. And for Bitcoin, I think 135 is probably a good price, but we will see how it happens. Usually September is a low month when everything goes down. And so I think this year it will be the same. We're gonna see some dips. But by the end of the year, it's going to be crazy. Good. Thanks a lot, Diana, for joining us, and thank you for valuable insights. It was really, really good to have you. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and in comments write what was the wildest thing in crypto over the last decade. Thanks a lot, guys, and see you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.